Hey y'all, I'm Dan, and this is Kinfolk, Stories of Community and Connection, the show where I sit down with the folks shaping Appalachia one story at a time. This week I'm joined by Derek Vance, the mind behind the Vintage Vances and co-founder of Charleston Vintage Fest. What started as a love for thrifting with his wife has grown into a full-on movement, from a booth in an antique mall to one of the region's most beloved vintage festivals. In this episode, Derek shares how a joke post turned into a packed-out event, why community support means everything, and how nostalgia from the 80s to Y2K fuels his passion for vintage fashion and culture. So, whether you're a collector, a creator, or just curious, stick around. You won't want to miss this one.
My name's Derek Vance. I'm the owner of the Vintage Vances, and basically the Vintage Vances came together as my wife and I were avid thrifters, estate sale shoppers, yard sellers, you name it. And it was one of those, hey, let's open a booth in an antique mall and see where it goes. And here we are going, I believe, year 4 now, going
Wow.
strong. Now we have a festival in Charleston, and that's kind of what I'm on here to really dive into today, more so than anything.
So, where is the Vintage Vantage? You guys are located down.
We're on D Street in South Charleston inside Vintage and Vines
Okay,
Mercantile.
gotcha.
Yes.
So, do you guys have like a specific vibe or anything that you?
Um, so really we just our big thing is about Y2K era to the 80s. We pick up some true vintage in the, 60s and back, but for the most part it's that 80s to Y2K era that we specialize in.
Do you have any favorite pieces or anything that you've let go of that you wish you hadn't?
Um, Not really. I mean, I've got a couple favorite pieces now that are, they're not for sale. They'll probably never be for sale. So, I'm an avid balls out collector. If you or anyone that listens remembers balls out, I've probably got 200 pieces balls out right now.
So, I'm actually not familiar. Can you give me some clarity on that?
Yeah, so Balls Out was a company. In just my understanding, I never met the owner. Unfortunately, Scott passed away a few years back, but they started in the Kanawha Mall as a small little skate shop called S&E. And from that, the story goes, and somebody will probably correct me on this, but I've talked to a lot of the screen printers and things, and the story goes that he just one day called up a TV network station, was like, "Hey, I'm Scott with Balls Out, and I want to print your shirts." And I believe it was The Simpsons and Seinfeld, from what I was told, and they let him. So then they moved to the Charleston Town Center, from what I gather, and then went to Nitro, where they were a huge company and had contracts for SpongeBob. They did a lot of band tees. They did. I mean, it was amazing what they did in Nitro.
I'm gonna have to Google that because I'm not a very good with like names and stuff. But usually, if I see like faces or like prints or anything like that, I usually can.
I feel like if somebody could come together and do a 30 for 30 on Balls Out, like the ESPN 30 for 30, if you could do it on Balls Out, I think it would be huge because of the impact that they had. They weren't only local, they were nationally known, they were worldwide as well. So,
It's pretty crazy. That's pretty cool though.
yeah.
So I take it. Are you local? Have you been here for a while in the area in Charleston?
I've lived, let's see, I moved from Parkersburg to here. I want to say I've been here about 8 years now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm a transplant from Logan to Parkersburg back to Charleston.
Big world traveler there.
Yeah, you know it.
So how is it running? It's you and you say you and your wife with the Vintage Vances.
Yes,
How is
yes.
that? How's that dynamic? How do you guys do the?
So she really doesn't get too involved, to be honest with you, Dan. Just because Allie, she's going to school. Super proud of my wife if she's going to listen to this later. So just a shout out to her for bettering herself, going to college, things like that.
Mhm.
So she really doesn't have a lot to do with it as far as curating the pieces or anything like that. So she leaves it up to me now, and it's honestly been something that I've found a love for and a passion for. I'm a musician by trade, graphic designer by trade, and I found something that I love more than music, and I never thought I would say that in my life. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm an old retired punk rocker, so I don't do that too much anymore. I actually just got my new music equipment in today, so I'm gonna do some recording and everything. But I do vintage shows, and then we put on a big festival in Charleston called Charleston Vintage Fest with a co-host, Born Again Vintage, Evan. He's located out of Morgantown, and he helps out a lot with the festival. But it has turned into something that is nothing I ever thought or dreamed about that it would be, just in its short tenure that has been going on.
The last one was in April, I believe, right? So I really wanted to make it to that and didn't get to, but I saw some like pictures and videos that like the news
Mm-hmm.
had shared, and I'm really sad that I didn't get to make it. And I'm going to make it a point to make it in July.
Okay.
But just to back up a little, what is Vintage Fest? Like, say for someone who's never heard of it.
So Charleston Vintage Fest kind of started as it was really a joke post that I made on Instagram and Facebook. I attended an event in Fayetteville, and my buddies reached out to me and was like, "Hey, Charleston needs this." I put it out there as a joke, like, should or should we shouldn't? And it just blew up. I mean, it had hundreds of likes, and I had people blowing me up in messages and texts, and was like, let's do it. And the first one we put together, I want to say we made it happen in 2 months. And
Crazy.
I could not believe the support that we had from the community and even outer community. I mean, we get vendors from 4 or 5 states away.
Oh, that's crazy.
We get participation from 4 and 5 states away from people coming to shop. It has really been incredible what it's done. And I also wanted a place that people could feel safe and an inclusive environment for anybody that comes in. You're welcome to Charleston Vintage Fest. I don't care who you are, what you are. Come to Charleston Vintage Fest, and you will be welcomed. I promise you.
That's so neat. How long has it been organized? How long has it
So
been?
this is going on. This month actually makes a year anniversary of it.
Okay, gotcha.
And we are going on 5. We call them like markets, basically. So this will be our 5th market.
Crazy.
And then we've got another one planned. We're going to do fall. I mean, and then we're going to just keep rotate spring, summer, fall, I believe.
What do you hope it like grows into or becomes?
So, um, if the people at Beni Kedem watch this, I apologize, but they have been super phenomenal to us. Chris, their maintenance person there, is absolutely goes above and beyond. But we have outgrown Beni Kedem substantially already. I mean, we're busting at the seams inside. We're moving vendors outside. And if the people at the Charleston Coliseum see this, I love y'all. Please let us have food vendors there, the outside food vendors. That's the big thing with the Coliseum. You know, they're great people over there. I've dealt with them with my full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
I've dealt with the people at the Coliseum. They're great to deal with. It's just I like bringing in those outside food vendors. You know, so maybe one day we'll break that barrier down with them.
That's a 2-year goal. You'll get it in the not this one, but the
Yes.
next one. You'll have it on the that next one. So I saw the poster and I was kind of curious about this. How many vendors do you like? How many, I guess, like sellers and such will be there? Because it looks like there's a huge, extensive list of.
Yeah, I believe at this one we're at 56 actual vendors selling. Uh, we're going to have flash tattoos there. We just released that the other day. So Simone Megason is going to be doing flash tattoos. We have food trucks, drinks. I mean, it is really an phenomenal, like just setting up when people start coming in, I'm blown away.
Mm-hmm.
What the community, and like I said, that even the outer community of Charleston and Kanawha County bring in to Charleston Vintage Fest. It's just wild to me. So just a shout out to anyone that's ever attended that event. Thank you for giving me 10 minutes, even if you walk through the door and walk back out. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. How can, I guess, like for anybody who would listen and it would be like new for them to hear it, even if they're not, local, and if they are local, how can they support and also not so much spread the word, but how can they show up and support you and events like this too?
Definitely just show up, just hang out. Even if you don't purchase anything, trust me, nobody's going to be upset if you don't come in. Because I mean, there's some items there that I look at and I'm blown away. True vintage T-shirts that are like $400 and $500 that I just swoon over. So just come out and support. Just enjoy the food, enjoy the music, enjoy the vibes. I promise you, it's going to grow into something even way bigger than my mind can even take it right now. I do have big plans. Evan and myself, we have huge plans for this event as soon as we find a place to grow it into what I want to grow it into.
Certainly. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the one thing that, I enjoy, and I'm glad that you said it, is just kind of going out and enjoying the atmosphere, the vibe of it all.
Yes.
And even if you don't purchase anything, it's just good to be in that community of like-minded people.
It is. And like I said, you're welcome. You're welcome by everybody. Knock on whatever wood I have around me. No issues thus far that we've had to get involved with. Everybody has been super great. This came through. The vendors have been great. The people coming in. We've had a little bit of backlash as far as like we didn't have certain things that people thought we were going to. It was more based towards clothing.
Yeah.
The first few markets. This market, I promise you, will be different than anyone we've ever done. I've got vendors bringing true antiques. I've got records coming. I've got toys. I've got plants. Again, tattoos on the spot. There's not too many places in Charleston you're going to find. Actually, there's nowhere. I'll put it. There's nowhere in Charleston you're going to find an event like this, and it's going to grow. I promise. So just think for the listeners out there, and then you may know. Just think Warp Tour. Just think Warp Tour. That's where my level wants to be.
So, Derek, the last thing I have for you is the rapid fire questions. It's just the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
So, my first one is, do you have a favorite thrift find of all time?
That one's tough. So it's not a thrift find. It's in an abandoned house find, and I just found it. It's a 1950s, 60s prison, Chambray, I guess is how it's pronounced. So it has the property estate prison on the back of it. Super, super cool piece. Not for sale.
That's awesome. So second question is, and this one's kind of just almost like a local shout out almost.
Mm-hmm.
What is the most underrated spot to grab a bite or hang out around town?
Grab a bite. The chicken shawarma down the food truck down in South Charleston. Right by Dollar General. Make sure you stop by, see my guys at Chicken Shawarma. And I got to give a second shout out on that.
Go right ahead.
Go see my guys, Bellisimo's up in DuPont City. Go see my guys up there too. Phenomenal. And tell them Derek sent you. They'll know exactly who you are.
Okay, the last one is, I'm going to say it's probably the hardest. If you're eating pepperoni roll, what do you prefer, the slices or the sticks of pepperoni?
Slices.
Definitely. That's me too.
Yeah, slices. Yeah. Anybody that selects sticks, I got to put you in that serial killer category.
So that is everything, Derek, that I had. Just one quick, if you can just let folks know how they can find, which I'll link everything in the description too, but I'd just like people to hear it, where they can find you, connect with you, and support you at.
For sure. So the Vintage Vances page, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram. Everything is branded the Vintage Vances. Super easy to find. Charleston Vintage Fest. We don't have an actual page on Facebook, but you can follow the event. Just type in Charleston Vintage Fest Summer Market. That'll come up for this one. And then on Instagram, type in Charleston. It's at Charleston VTG Fest. And you'll find that.
Awesome.
And you'll see the vendor spotlights. We'll do vendor spotlights. We just released one. So you'll actually see that some of the items that people are going to sell there.
Awesome. Well, Derek, thanks so much for coming on and talking about Vintage Fest. I'm excited for it. And hopefully listeners are too. And if anybody listens, I expect to see you there.
Yeah, same. And if you come and mention you saw it on the podcast, and I'll give you a price discount. I'll give you $10 off your order if you mention it, that you saw it on the podcast.
That's a wrap on this episode of Kinfolk, Stories of Community and Connection. Big thanks to Derek Vance of the Vintage Vances for sharing his journey, his love for vintage, and his heart for community. Be sure to follow Derek and check out Charleston Vintage Fest on Instagram. And if you swing by the event, tell him you heard him on Kinfolk. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook, where I highlight the people, places, and hidden gems that make Appalachia shine. If you've got a story to share or know someone I should chat with, send me an email at kinfolkpodcastconnect@gmail.com. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and don't be a stranger. Take care, y'all.